Welcome to this evening of Transcendence, celebrating a historic book.
Transcendence is a book by India's former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, that maps a journey of self-realization through the fusion of science, spirituality, and leadership. Let us first illuminate this evening by lighting a lamp amidst the resonance of Vedic mantras. May I request the torchbearers of India's spiritual legacy, Puja Chinna Jira Swamiji and Puja Mahan Swamiji, to light the deep tonight.
Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrutyorma mrutangamaya. Om Maranatītam abhigacchit, dveshatītam abhigacchit, samabhavam abhigacchit, abhigacchit sahajanandam. Om.
This book is special because it is written by our former president, Dr. Kalam, recollecting his special friendship with Pramukh Swami Maharaj, the spiritual leader of BAPS. Their first meeting was in June 2001 in Gujarat Vihar in New Delhi. Dr. Kalam had a vision for India 2020. He had identified a few areas on which India must focus. Swami Shri added, faith in God. This answer touched Dr. Kalam very deeply. Dr. Kalam, as President of India, inaugurated Swaminarayan Akshardham here in New Delhi in 2005. On that occasion, he pointed to the monument and told Swami that he had built such a wonderful masterpiece, and that too in only 5 years. But Swami Shri said to him that it was due to the grace of God. Dr. Kalam repeatedly said that it was due to his efforts, but Swami Shri insisted that everything had been possible only due to the blessings of God.
This is a tale of two boys. One, a boatman's boy. The other, a farmer's boy. The boatman's boy was born in Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu, an island surrounded by water. His father built boats. The farmer's boy was born in Chansal in Gujarat, a village surrounded by fields. His father grew crops. Both were studious, quiet, shy, and very spiritual. They spoke little, but worked hard. The boatman's boy, though surrounded by water, was more possessed by the vastness of the skies. He loved to watch the birds fly, seagulls and cranes. The farmer's boy, though surrounded by fields, was more possessed by the calm of the mountains. He loved to visit temples and shrines and longed for the Himalayas. The boatman's boy always dreamed of flying. The farmer's boy always dreamed of praying. Soon the boatman's boy left his home to study and became the first engineer from his village to fly. The farmer's boy renounced his home and became the first sadhu from his village to serve. The engineer developed India's first hovercraft, SLVs, missiles, and then its atomic energy. What really changed his life were his two gurus, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, and Dr. Brahma Prakash. They made him a leader of science. The sadhus served in huts and villages, unifying minds and hearts. But his greatest strength was the grace of his two gurus, Shastriji Maharaj and Yogiji Maharaj. They blessed him with the power of faith and love and made him a leader of spirituality. Though the boatman's boy could not become an Air Force pilot, he did become the supreme commander of all the forces: air, land, sea and space, and the 11th President of India, the largest democracy of the world. Though the farmer's boy could not complete his studies, he founded many schools, colleges, hospitals and temples, and became the 5th spiritual successor of Bhagwan Swami Narayan, the president of BAPS, an international socio-spiritual organization. One left his island to lead the land of India. The other left his family to make the whole world his family. But eventually, divine destiny brought them together. President Kalam was searching for something that was missing, and Pramukh Swami Maharaj gave him the one thing that was fulfilling. This is the tale of something missing and something fulfilling.
It was a hot summer evening on 30th June 2001 when I met Pramukh Swamiji for the first time, resplendent of saffron robes. The gentle, fair complexion. Pramukh Swamiji was radiating divinity. That was the first thought that occurred to me upon seeing you. My friend Y.S. Rajan was with me. Y.S. Rajan, bearded man. We sat down and tried to adjust Swamiji's powerful, gracious presence, the brief conversation. So many people like me are asking, what should be the next vision for India? What will be the next vision for India? How do we transform a developed country into a developed country within next 30 years? I had given 5 ideas. But you have 6th idea. After seeing my book, you gave a 6th idea. You said the 6th idea is spiritual life of India. We have India transformed into, apart from prosperity, wealth, we should to transform it into a spiritual nation. I have added there. I have drawn to Pramukh Swami's simplicity. I felt if I had known him all my life, I was sitting in the presence of my father, my teacher in higher presence. Mahaprabhu Swamiji, for me it's a 15 years travel. 2000 I saw you. Now 2050. 15 years travel. Beautiful spiritual journey. Swamiji, I saw your great day when Akshardham was inaugurated in New Delhi. That is the great day. I said I must write a book.
It is also true that many times, whenever it might be a simple idea or a dream or some moral dilemma, Dr. Kalam found it so easy to reach out to Pramukh Swami even over the phone. He also mentioned many times that I have learnt a secret from Pramukh Swami, that I don't need to be physically present to be with him, I could just think of him and I could be with Pramukh Swami Maharaj. That Dr. Kalam does not understand or speak a word of Gujarati, and Pramukh Swami does not speak or understand a word of English, and their friendship was a communication of consciousness. They taught us that friendship cannot be bound by words and beautiful phrases and SMSs. Friendship is something that transcends language. It transcends all the so many norms that we think of friendship as. But I want to tell you very frankly that the communication between Dr. Kalam and Pramukh Swami was almost cosmic. Today, in the form of this book, Transcendence, he has told it to the entire humanity. And I believe that this love for Pramukh Swami is not just a love for Pramukh Swami. It is Dr. Kalam's love, respect and reverence for everyone who is righteous in this world, everyone who is spiritual, and everyone who is universal. But this evening, I want to tell you that Dr. Kalam has a permanent place in the heart of Pramukh Swami, a heart which is transcendental, which is beyond ego and desire, which is beyond I and mine. When one person came to Pramukh Swami and asked that I want peace, the only thing Pramukh Swami told him, first cancel I, then remove want, and all that you have is peace. This evening, if we remove these two things, we shall have transcendental peace and friendship. Thank you very much.
In this historic book, Transcendence, Dr. Kalam recounts his 14-year-old association with Pramukh Swamiji. Let us journey through some of his interactions, inspirations, and visions. I met Pramukh Swamiji, my ultimate teacher, unwittingly. Faith and my curiosity had drawn me to him. What began as a chance introduction became a divine destiny. June 2001. In my first meeting with Pramukh Swamiji, when I presented the plans for India 2020, his first words were, "Along with your 5 areas to transform India, add a 6th one, faith in God." I felt that I was in the divine presence. I felt that I had acquired a 6th sense. 13th August 2002. Pramukh Swamiji confirmed my childhood learning that everything wants peace, but the only peace that will fully satisfy us will be the peace of the divine. His life is an example of how to love peace, have peace, and possess peace. 2004, 8th February. Pramukh Swamiji is a great bridge in the vast archipelago of humanity. An archipelago is an island group. Humanity has divided itself into hundreds of islands. Beautiful, yet disconnected. Swamiji is connecting these different islands by making bridges of love and compassion. 6th November 2005. After the opening ceremony, I said to Pramukh Swamiji, "When I see Akshardham and your work, I feel anything is possible in this world. I want to work with you for a better India." 11th March 2014. Pramukh Swamiji has indeed transformed me. He is the ultimate stage of the spiritual ascent in my life, which started with my father. was sustained by Dr. Brahma Prakash and Professor Satish Dhawan. Now, finally, Pramukh Swamiji has put me in a God-synchronous orbit. I wrote this book to record my experiences, my reflections, and transformation. I see in Pramukh Swamiji a true embodiment of transcendence.
In 2014, when I met Pramukh Swamiji first time with Dr. Kalam, after the meeting, Dr. Kalam told me that he must write his experiences with Pramukh Swamiji, and it should be done fast. Because if something happened to Pramukh Swamiji and he failed to give this book which he is thinking of giving from the day this Akshardham Delhi was inaugurated, it will be the biggest disappointment of my life. So he gave me this task. And then I started keying in the book, and trust me, weeks and a month and nothing happened. And I was very confused and perplexed. So I came to Ahmedabad. I met Swami Brahmbiari ji, and he took me to Sadhu Ishwar Charan Das ji. And then I told him my predicament, I am not able to write anything. He says, because you are trying to write. So you have to surrender this I. And then he put his hand on my head and gave me a photograph of Pramukh Swamiji. I took it back to my home. I put it by the side of my computer, and then the book started flowing in. So today I want to confess in front of all of you, I have not written this book. This book has been written through me. I am merely an instrument. We took this book to Pramukh Swamiji, and you have seen in the video the beautiful interaction between Dr. Kalam and Pramukh Swamiji. So after that interaction, I was given a plaque of appreciation, and very rightly so. I took that plaque to my mother in Meerut, close to Delhi, and I gave that plaque to her. And she told that you have done a fantastic task. What is that task? She says that Pramukh Swamiji is an ocean of love, and Dr. Kalam is an ocean of knowledge. And you have put two oceans in one book. I am proud of you, my son. God bless you.
24th September 2002. Two terrorists attack Akshardham. 31 innocent victims. A nation in tears. Swamiji encouraged his followers to pray, not punish. I believe that his spiritual calmness and saintliness not only restored peace in Gujarat, but also provided a final seal on the perpetuating cycle of communal violence in the state. 44 warring villages. A feud 200 years old. Generations of rulers fail at peace. Even drinking water became a crime. Apaya declared. Pramukh Swamiji personally served sanctified water to each leader, dissolving the hardened Apaya pledge. It was the first time the villagers had seen each other, smiling, laughing, and happy. Pramukh Swamiji gave life to the Vedic concept of Ajat Shatru, one with no enemies. Every year, addictions in India cost over 100 trillion in diseases, result in over 2,500 suicides, and destroy countless families. Most shockingly, 63% of addicts begin before age 15. 23,000 BAPS children de-addicted, over 630,000 addicts in just 20 days. This reinstilled my belief in the future of our nation through empowerment. Is there a way of bringing religions closer, of making humanity stronger, of making our lives happier? Pramukh Swamiji's speech at the United Nations was like the Magna Carta of spiritual unity. He said, "Let us not just tolerate, but respect other religions. Not just exist, but coexist. Not just hail, but help others." Pramukh Swamiji often sits in prayer throughout the night for the problems of common people. I have emulated this habit. Pramukh Swamiji is like the Himalayas of humanitarian activities and the Pacific of peace. He is truly peerless. All of us, bright atheists and committed religionists, need to awaken now and hear the earth's call. We need to awaken our consciences with justice as our guide and work towards a planet transformed by our care. The only thing that will redeem humankind is cooperation. Let us make our planet more livable. A harmonious world begins with a harmonious inner world.
अथ ब्रह्मस्वरूपो गुरुः समाज्ञायते तद्विज्ञानार्थं सगुरुमेवाभिगच्छेत् समित्पाणि श्रोत्रियं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यसेतुरीजानानम् अक्षरं ब्रह्म यत्परम् अभयं तितिर्षतां पारं नाचिकेतं शकेमहि यमेव प्रत्यक्षनारायणस्वरूपं वदन्ति ब्राह्मणाः।
Transcendence is the story of two friends who, through their friendship and their dialogue over a sustained period of time, found a solution to the challenges that humanity faces today. For an individual, the challenge is the realization of happiness, the realization of inner peace. To me, this is the lesson that comes out through a dialogue between two great friends and who went on a path of self-realization, led by a great scientist and led by a great guru who has given us the mantra for happiness. The mantra for happiness is to go on a spiritual journey and to remove the I and want from our lives, and the mantra of a sustainable planet for the future of humanity and to solve the problems of humanity which leads to violence, which leads to a declining planet and a decline in the life, quality of life for all our children. To make it sustainable is again a spiritual realization for the individual and the elimination of I and want.
अक्षरधाम और प्रमुख स्वामी जैसे संतों के संपर्क में आकर के मुझे लगा कि अगर किसी व्यक्ति का गुण दोष नापना है, उसका विवेचन करना है, तो इंटेलिजेंस क्वोशंट से भी ज़्यादा महत्वपूर्ण भले इकोनॉमिक क्वोशंट होगा, लेकिन उन सब से भी अधिक महत्वपूर्ण कोई है तो वो स्पिरिचुअल क्वोशंट है. और ट्रांसेंडेंस के द्वारा विद्वान लेखक ने उन्होंने ये बात बिल्कुल स्पष्ट की है कि ज्ञान को और आध्यात्मिकता के साथ जोड़ करके ही हम राष्ट्र की सही सेवा कर सकते हैं.
Pramukh Swamiji Maharaj is a best teacher. During the short period of his time, Swamiji was able to reach the nook and corner of the world to inspire people and to put them in real action. We see here a great scientist who understood the ends of the science and the means of the science also. Not only just understood, but who practiced and who stood for a country. And now ultimately he wanted a missing component, that is the mentality to share with others. Sharing not only with the human beings, but also sharing something for the rest of the creatures. Swaminarayan Samsthan, the BAPS, as inspired by Pujya Sri Pramukh Swamiji Maharaj, made a landmark, not only in giving good knowledge to disciples, but also a practice that becomes a model, that becomes applicable, that becomes followable by every creature, every one.
We feel divine joy and experience when we go through this extraordinary book. You will be doing that. When I took this book in my hand, I found it has a lot of relevant matter that requires a profound concentration, because it narrates such historical events, incidents, and episodes that elevate readers from ordinary sympathy to extraordinary empathy. You see, in the world today, this kind of empathy is very difficult to imbibe and transmit. It is difficult for sadhaks to have this kind of attitude. Even we, sadhaks, very hard to do this, to have this sort of attitude. The world is full of this attitude. And person who goes above, he transcends. And that is what Abdul Kalam has done. If we study this book seriously, it becomes clear that it does not promote any individual. This book is about higher values and lived and experienced higher values by Kalam. And he has only mentioned that, nothing else. In short, we can also transcend and achieve excellence if we all live without hatred and bitterness and be happy and joyous.
Deepest gratitude to my Guru, Param Puja Pramukh Swami Maharaj, for leaving such a simple, pure, spiritual, divine and purposeful life in the service of God and humanity. Our deepest gratitude to the authors, Dr. Kalam and Professor Tiwari, and the publishers for bringing out a historic book which will inspire and ignite the minds of people with spirituality for generations to come. Our thanks go out to all the diplomats from all over the world who made this a truly international event, true to the spirit of spirituality that embraces the whole humanity.
Because it's a very inspiring organization. I find the Mahants, monks to be truly inspiring, totally dedicated to the cause, and they're all very highly educated and total devotion, dedication. This evening, you see, I happen to know Dr. Abdul Kalam also personally very well for a number of years. He's a great soul, and I am not surprised when he gets inspired spiritually by Pramukh Swami Maharaj, because it is bound to happen because they are of the same type, He is also a dedicated person for the good of humanity and believes in the harmony. It has to evolve. So I'm not surprised, and of course I'm anxious to get a copy of the book and read it, and tomorrow itself I will write to Dr. Abdul Kalam about this evening.
I get really inspired. I'm inspired by what I hear, inspired by the people I meet, inspired by the love that engulfs everyone in something that is very unifying. And I think it is something that is missing in so many places, in so many areas of life, and one really gets some tranquility and belief and positivity.
I've been privileged to have worked with BAPS now for well over a decade, since my time in the United Kingdom, and had the privilege also of being able to do seva for the organization. So it's an absolute honor to be here today to represent the British government at the launch of Transcendence, which was written by Abdul Kalam about Pramukh Swami. And I always remember from a very young age, actually, in fact, after the Gandhinagar attack. So I was there in 2002 after I graduated. And I remember after the attacks that there was not a single a death, because Bapa very quickly stood up and said, we are a movement which stands for peace. We do not expect anyone to take revenge for what has happened. And I think that was very moving for me, and it symbolized what BAP stands for, what the Swaminarayan movement stands for.
Today's program is a reflection of love and the science. People are talking about spiritualism, but I talk about love. This man is full of love. I met him last year at Sarangpur. Oh, I tell you, that man is so humble, and you feel like crying looking at him. You see, we need 1,000 great men like him. And if we can emulate him, even for a small section, I tell you, we'll be doing great wonders in this human values.
I think the book, as well as the speakers who reflected on the book or its contents or different elements of that, made it very, very clear that there is a direct correlation between the world in which we live, from a career, work, our physical environment, yet our being here, and the spiritual link is so critical. And you can explain that in different ways, that at the end of the day, we sometimes forget about the fact that there's more to life than your day-to-day work. There's much more to life than your time at the office or your possessions or your assets or whatever it might be. There's much more to that, including family and, of course, your connection with God and your spirituality.